All right, what is going on, everybody? We got some games to talk about that happened this past weekend, and we have all-star game stuff to talk about. We have the final voting in for all the starters, um, for I guess the three of the four teams, um, not East versus West, but just team whatever versus team whatever. Um, and yeah, we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna talk about the games a little bit since they're a little bit past us now. They're a little bit behind us. We have a full slate of games, um, all primetime games this week. Um, we'll talk about that in another video, but I do want to cover these ones that happened this past weekend. So if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment them down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. Um, gonna briefly touch on Pacers versus San Antonio Spurs in Paris, the Paris games. We're going to talk about Nuggets versus Timberwolves, um, Boston versus Dallas Mavericks, and the Lakers and Golden State Warriors went at it again. LeBron versus Steph. Um, we're gonna get to that. Let's start with this Pacers Spurs. Like I said, we're gonna get through these very quickly. I'm not gonna spend too much time on these. Um, talk about them a little bit, but not get into the nitty gritty too much. Anyways, I called this game. I thought this game, because the Spurs and Pacers both played in Paris twice. I thought, as it has always been, that you play one game and then you fly back home. You get a couple of days off and you fly back home. You get a couple of days off. I thought this game, the second of the two, was gonna be back in the U.S. in San Antonio or something. No, they're both in Paris, which is cool, which is fine. But I said, um, the Spurs were going to win the first game because Victor Wembanyama is from the Paris area. And I was like, oh, he's going to put on a show, blah, 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 blah. And then the Pacers are going to come back the second game they play, which I thought was going to be in San Antonio. And I thought the Spurs were still going to win. They were going to come back and kick some butt. And that's exactly what they did. Um, leading score for the Pacers this game, Tyrese Halliburton with 28. Not too many assists, very out of character, but he shot the ball fantastic. 6 for 9 from three, 11 for 17. Bring that up. The second player in 20 had 20 plus points. Pascal Siakam with 23, uh, 10 for 18, and the whole starting lineup was in double digits. That's Miles Turner, that's Andrew Nemhard, that's Benedict Mathurin. Um, and off the bench, you had Thomas Bryant with 10 and TJ McConnell with 12. Um, the Pacers just really came out and, like I thought they would. They would just say, "Hey, we are the better team. We know we're in your city. We know we're we're not the favorite in this city, but we're gonna come out and do what we need to do." Um, the Pacers' leading scorer, surprise, surprise, Harrison Barnes. Um, would not have picked that one. If you if you took the over on Harrison Barnes points, congratulations to you. Um, he was 3 for 7 from three, 9 for 14 overall from field goal. Wemby, second leading scorer with 20, 2 for 7, 7 for 16. Um, had two other people in double digits: Chris Paul, Stephon Castle, um, and yeah, like I said, Pacers just came out and said, "Hey, nah, you got your one win for the hometown fans, and now we're gonna come out here and show you we're better." Um, watching this game, my memory might be a little fuzzy because this was a while ago. This was like 2, 3 days ago. Um, Vic just looked. He looked a little. He looked a little rough. He just looked. I won't say he looked bad, but he just he looked out of character, and he looked like he was trying to put on a show. And I feel like that's when you play your worst, when you just are out of character and you just start playing wild. Um, and yeah, that was pretty much the game. we're not gonna get into these too much, but that yeah. Let's see. Let's. I just want to look at the stats. Yeah, field goal better for the Pacers. 3 point better. Free throw supremely better. Rebounds, offensive, defensive. Yeah, Pacers just took this game. Um, the next one, Nuggets versus Minnesota. I only watched a little bit of this one. Um, I came. What's it called? I had to go do something at halftime, and it was a very close game. Minnesota did look better in the first quarter, and I came back at the beginning of the third, and it was still close. And then the Wolves just blew it open. Um, Congratulations to the Wolves. When the Nuggets have Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic both with 20 points, and you have Russell Westbrook with 13, you have Christian Braun with 10, you have Michael Porter with 11, and you get 13 from Aaron Gordon off the bench. They don't normally lose those games. Now the shooting percentages aren't the best. Um, Michael Porter and Jamal Murray both split their threes essentially. Michael was 3 for 6 from 3 point. Jamal was 3 for 5 from three. Um, and the percentages did not do many favors. Jamal Murray had a great field goal percentage in general, 10 for 16, only missed 6 shots, which is good. Russell Westbrook 6 for 10. Nikola Jokic 9 for 13. Um, but the Wolves came in for a battle, um, and they took it off. They took off in the fourth. Um, Anthony Edwards with 34. He looked great this game. Julius Randle. The percentages don't do him any favors, but 21 points for him. Um, Almost everybody was in double digits in the starting lineup. Mike Conley had 9, but Rudy Gobert had 14. Jaden McDaniels had 13. They didn't shoot a lot of threes. Most of their 3 point shooting came off the bench. Um, but they played a pretty good overall game. You had Naz Reid off the bench with 13. You had Alexander Walker off the bench with 10. And you had Rob Dillingham, who's back from injury. He's been back from injury for a little bit now, with 10 points. He brings that extra oomph off the bench, and I like that for Rob Dillingham. Um, yeah, really good game. Um, really good game. Let's dive in a little bit deeper here for the team stats for this game because it was a bit of a closer one. Um, yeah, the Nuggets never led, and they the biggest lead for the Wolves was 30. Yeah, that sounds about right. That was in the fourth quarter. I wanted to get it twisted that was all game. It happened in the fourth quarter. They blew it open. They blew the doors open. Um, let's see here. Wolves field goal percentage 55 to the Nuggets 58. Um, the Wolves shot the 3 point shot. What was that 12% better? Yeah, 12% better. The Nuggets can make a free throw. Almost split it at 53. Um, they beat them on the offensive and defensive boards. That's kind of crazy. Didn't feel like that, but definitely I could see that. Total, yeah, the Nuggets had 20 turnovers. They conceded 37 points off turnovers. Yeah, that was the game. Yeah. Okay. And the next one, just going through these quick, man. We're gonna get through these. um, Boston versus the Mavs. Um, let's see here. This one I had to watch. I had to rewatch the highlights of because I did not catch this one because truth be told, I really had no interest in watching it. Boston Celtics versus Dallas Mavericks without Luka Doncic starting for the Mavericks. I had no interest, and they're so injured. The Mavs they lost Maxi Kleber, Kleba. They lost Maxi Kleba to I believe a foot injury or something like that. He's out for the foreseeable future, so I think the Mavs season is cooked. I'll still tune in, but I wasn't tuning into this game. Um, the Celtics had, let's see, three people in with 20 plus points. Um, the two other starters, Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, were so close to that. Kristaps had 18. Drew Holiday had 17. Um, and man, did that starting unit get up threes? Um, let's see here. Three people got up 10 or more 3-point attempts. Um, they split them. Almost everybody who took them split them. Um, Jason Tatum took 12 3-pointers, 4 for 12 from three. Drew Holiday took five, or made five, took 10. Derek White took 10, made four. Um, they didn't get to the free throw line too much, but man, did they make it up? Did they make it up big? Um, this is what happens when you just play an injured team. Um, the bench really didn't need to do anything; they just kind of coasted for the Celtics. It looks like, and I mean, the Mavs gave it their best. PJ Washington with 17, Daniel Gafford with 19, Kyrie Irving in his return to Boston, 22. He just played bad. 11 for 23. That's not ideal. Spencer Dinwiddie 12 points and Clay Thompson 6. Um, I hate to say it. I'm gonna state the obvious here. Clay's not playing well, man. He has some games, but this is the Clay Thompson you get now, and this is why the Warriors didn't want to keep him. And I mean, we'll talk about the Warriors in a second, but yeah, this is why I'm not paying a guy what he wants to get paid that much money for 6 points. When one of my other star players is out, I expect you to step up, and you just haven't stepped up. Um, the bright spot though off the bench for them was Quentin Grimes, who's been having himself a season recently. He's gonna get paid this off season. I think he's a free agent. Had 20 points, 2 for 3 from three, 7 for 12 from field goal overall. Bro, start him over Clay. Like if you're just gonna be bad or just be like middle of the pack, just start him. Just start. Um, start Quentin Grimes, man. That's all I have to say. Um, let's read off some records here because I haven't been doing that. The Dallas Mavericks are only 2 games above 500. They're 24 and 22. The um, the Boston Celtics are 32 and 14. Um, Nuggets are 28 and 17. The Wolves are 24 and 21, and the Pacers are 25 and 20, and the Spurs are 20 and 23, hovering around the play-in. All right, we got through those games. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Warriors. The final score might deceive you. It is 118 to 108. Um, we're gonna look at the team stats first because I just want to see. Yeah, both these teams shot terribly from three. This is a game I actually watched most of the way through, um, and it was pretty close. Um, the largest lead for the Lakers was 15, and the largest lead for the Warriors was 6. Um, but the deciding factor here was Steph Curry, man. I believe he did not score in the second half at all, and ended the game with 13 points, 9 assists, um, 2 for 9 from three, and 4 for 17. A real stinker of a game. Um, and Steve Kerr just keeps rolling out this abomination of a lineup. Um, Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, Gary Payton, Andrew Wiggins, and Trace Jackson Davis. Um, I get a lot of guys are out. Um, su- surprisingly, or I should say, what's the word? Surprisingly, I guess, is the bench actually played well this game. Dennis Schroeder had 10. Moses Moody had 10. Brandon Podziemski returned from injury, had 17. Um, but it was not enough. Uh, Anthony Davis had 36. You felt all 36 of those points. He was Anthony Davis was amazing this game. This is the Anthony Davis I love. Um, LeBron James had 25. Austin Reeves had 16. Max Christie had 11. Dorian Finney-Smith, who hasn't looked too good with the Lakers since being traded there from the Nets, had 8. Um, and then you had Dalton Connect off the bench with 13. He hit some crazy threes. By crazy, I mean just like well timed. Um, just the play was blown up, and they threw it to him in the corner. He made it. Really good stuff for Dalton Connect. Um, I I want to talk about this game in a sort of weird way, but I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point with this Warriors team. Um, I think I've been thinking about. I thought about this last game too. Last game they played when they lost to the Celtics or whoever. The Warriors did. I don't want to talk about the Warriors anymore until they start doing something. I'm done talking about the Warriors. I don't want to talk about them. I just don't want to talk about them. I just don't. um, it's just a it's just such an awkward place to be as a fan of basketball watching this team because you're like, this team started off really good, right? And you have people say they get above 40 wins. I wasn't one of those people, but I thought, hey, you could stick around and avoid the play in. You're not avoid, bro. You're out of the plan right now. You're out of the plan. You were 22 and 23, and the Lakers they're the ones keeping their head above water. They're 25 and 18, and we're heading into All Star break, and we're heading towards the trade deadline, and you know things can move, things can shake. The Dallas Mavericks might fall a little bit. Um, Actually, let's just pull the standings right now, real quick, real quick. Um, real quick. Like the Warriors are sitting down here with the Spurs. We'll say the Spurs because after that the teams don't go down. They have less than 20 wins. You're sitting down here with the Spurs, the Kings, the Mavericks, the Suns. Like, and the Kings are improving. The Kings are getting better. Um, we'll see what happens with the Suns. The Mavericks could obviously fall right to where the Spurs and the Warriors are, but I cannot see a world in which the Warriors don't have to play a playing game, and they do not thrive well under duress. And I don't think this team would thrive well under duress, um, in a playing situation, um, in the spring or summer. I don't think this Warriors team is equipped for that. Um, and yeah, I'm not gonna repeat myself. I'm not gonna do it. We're not talking about the Warriors anymore on this channel, until they actually start putting something together or something happens or whatever. We're not talking about them anymore because they're just disappointing. They're just disappointing at this point. Like, we can talk about the Mavs still. We can talk about these other bad teams, but a team that is just constantly making the same mistakes and keep doing the same thing over and over and over again is just infuriating. And you don't want to hear me talk about it, so we will not talk about it anymore. Until they do something, they make a trade, they turn it around after All Star break. We're not talking about them. I don't care who they play. Um, yeah, so that's that. On that note, let's switch gears completely here, um, to All Star Game this year. Um, the starters were announced. The final voting was counted. Um, if you don't know, it's in San Francisco this year. Um, First time it's in San Francisco. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Um, we have the the numbers in. Give me 1 second. All right, yes, we do have the final numbers. I just wanted to get the team up. The teams. See, that's the weird thing. By the way, if you don't know what's going on, there's 3 teams now of All Stars, and there's 1 team of Rising Stars. Whoever wins the Rising Stars game. Um, go check out that video. I have a video on it explaining it, trying to dissect it a little bit. Um, but yeah, let's get through these starters and such. For the West, uh, we'll go from point guard to center. We have Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Nikola Jokic as your 2025 All-Star starters um, in the West. And then in the East, you have Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I think starting for his first time, Karl Anthony Towns. Um, that New York voting, those fans went crazy for Karl Anthony Towns. Those are your starters. Those are the I guess you can only pick those guys as starters. Um, let's see. So for the fan ranking, Nikola Jokic was your leading vote getter. LeBron James was your second. Kevin Durant was your third. And bringing up these last, I'll read the top 5 for you guys. These last 2 spots at 4 and 5, Victor Wembanyama and Anthony Davis. Um, very interesting. I said this to myself when when I saw these numbers. I was like, once LeBron retires or once KD starts, he's always gonna be a fan favorite, KD. But Victor Wembanyama is gonna be an All-Star starter for like, I wouldn't be surprised, 8+ years in a row. Um, but yeah, other people um, in the front court that got votes: Shangoon from Houston, Jalen Williams from OKC, Jaren Jackson Jr. from Memphis, Domantas Sabonis from Sacramento, and Andrew Wiggins from your Warriors. From the Warriors. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So Jaren Jackson Jr. was 10th in the fan voting. Hmm. Wiggins was ahead of him in the fan voting, and Sabonis was ahead of him in the fan voting. Interesting. But the media wanted Jaren Jackson more as a starter than they wanted Sabonis or Wiggins. Interesting, interesting, interesting. And the players did not want Andrew Wiggins. The player vote rate ranked Andrew Wiggins 21st. That's wild. Wow. So the fans and media like Andrew Wiggins. The other players do not, or at least the vote when they want to talk about all-star starters, they don't like them. For the Western guards, um, obviously Shea first in fan voting, first in player voting and media voting. Um, Stephen Curry too, and then it falls off after that. There was just a non-consensus about who is the third um, person here, because Luca, one of my favorite players, is third in fan voting, but sixth in player and fourth in media. But then below him on this list, Anthony Edwards, fifth in fan voting, third in player voting, and third in media voting. Very interesting stuff. And then going down the list, Kyrie, Ja, James, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Booker, Norman Powell got a vote, got a couple votes. Um, yeah, I'm looking at these rankings and stuff. Um, let's see here. So two, three. So the players wanted Ant. Okay. And then they wanted Kyrie. And then they wanted Devin Booker. I'm talking about the player voting here. And Norman Powell is at ninth for player voting. He almost beat out De'Aaron Fox. He beat out James Harden, his teammate in Los Angeles. Um, and then the media did 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 not want Devin Booker to be an All Star starter. Surprisingly, this is gonna blow your mind. There's almost a four-way tie in the media voting. It's between Kyrie, Ja Morant, James Harden, De'Aaron Fox, and Norman Powell. The media could not decide on if you if you had a third guard, who would they put? That's interesting. They really like Norman Powell. Damn, that's really wild. Um, quickly moving to the Eastern Conference. Um, I should preface this or say this. The starters, for those who do not know, are fan voted. The fans have the most weight, but the players and the media do vote, and the coaches are the ones who do the bench and all that stuff. I think that's how it still works. But let's read off the Eastern front court. That's centers, power forwards, small forwards. Um, going down the list, Giannis, Tatum, Karl Anthony Towns as your three starters. And then even further down the list, Paolo bringing up four, Evan Mobley five. Um, then you have Jalen Brown, Franz Wagner, Jared Allen, Joel Embiid, and Mikal Bridges got votes too. Um, everybody really came to a consensus on those three because it's all 1-2, 1-2-3, 1-2-3 for Giannis, Jason, and Carl here. And then the media just can't decide, which is kind of crazy. There's like almost the fourth one wanted by the media is Evan Mobley, and the players like Evan Mobley at 4 too. He's fourth ranked, I should say. Um, but then Paulo, Jalen Brown, Franz Wagner, um, Jared Allen, Joel Embiid, Mikal Bridges, all are tied for fifth in media voting. But then it gets a little skewed for fans and player voting. The fans wanted Jalen Brown. Yeah, they wanted Jalen Brown. The players wanted Jalen Brown too, and then it sort of gets murky with Franz from Orlando, Jared Allen from Cleveland, Joel Embiid, Philadelphia. If you're voting for Joel Embiid, uh, if you're voting for Joel Embiid, go see a professional. Go seek help. Because if that man is anywhere near an All Star game this year, I'm going to be so mad. He has not played enough. Get him out of here. Um, and yeah, and then Mikal Bridges at 11. Like I said, the media wanted him. Quickly to the guards here in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, you have Donovan, Jalen. This was the controversy that I saw. Um, LaMelo Ball had the most fan votes, I believe, but his player voting was ranked third, and his media was seventh. So I think that's what really tanked his odds of starting in this game, this All Star game. Because Mikal and not Mikal, Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson were both 1 and 2 in media ranking and voting. Um, but the fans wanted Melo, but the media and the players saw it differently. Further down on this list, you have Trae Young from Atlanta, Damian Lillard, Milwaukee Bucks, Cade Cunningham, Detroit, Darius Garland, Cleveland, Tyrese Maxey, Philadelphia, Tyler Hero, Miami, and Jordan Poole got some votes too from Washington. Um, I don't think Jordan Poole is making it. I regret to inform everybody, but it seems about right. I mean, it's really mixed up down here. There's five, six, eight, four, seven for player, fan, and media voting and ranking. Um, I think this is the right call, though. It's going to be a dogfight for these guard spots in the East for a long time. So, um, the fans, let's see really quickly. The fans wanted Damian Lillard. He's ranked fourth in fan voting. Um, they wanted Trey Young as well, the fans, and they wanted Cade Cunningham. I can respect that. I can respect that. Um, but yeah, that's it. That's the Eastern Conference final voting. The starters for the Eastern and Western Conference. I don't know how they're going to divvy up these teams. I talked about it a little bit. Again, check out that video. Um, but yeah, uh, we will go over. This video has run way too long already, so we'll talk about the huge slate of games we have this week tomorrow. When the first bunch of games are going to come on tomorrow night. So I plan on that anyway, but a little longer video. Hope you stuck around. If you stuck around this long, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see y'all tomorrow. And I'll probably see you guys every day, every day this week. Um, so yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers.